recipe is for whole barramundi baked in paperbark, which Fiona was happy to teach me how to make. The scales are left on the fish, but it is thoroughly cleaned, and of course anywhere else the fishmonger would do that for you. The inside's then sprinkled liberally with wine, and the fish is already sitting on pieces of paperbark which will be used to wrap it up. The juice of a lemon is squeezed in, and a handful of lemon slices are added. A handful of basil leaves are roughly torn up and placed inside the fish's cavity, along with one roughly cut tomato and one roughly cut onion. The paperbark is wrapped around the barramundi. Now, if you're in a part of the world where you can't get paperbark, you could use aluminium foil. It wouldn't have quite the same effect, though. A little oil is brushed onto the exposed areas, and it's onto the barbecue or into a hot oven. Sliced baked potatoes are one of Fiona's chosen accompaniments. They're first steamed to soften them, and then they're placed on an oiled baking tray, brushed with a little oil, sprinkled with a tiny amount of salt and fresh rosemary before being put into a hot oven to brown. More vegetables, this time leeks, which are thinly sliced and gently sautéed in an oiled pan. Here Fiona cunningly uses the oil reserved from a jar of dried tomatoes, which comes complete with its own garlic cloves. Very clever. 10 or so minutes for the leeks. Asparagus is also used. This is asparagus grown locally, something which surprised me given El Questro's location high above the Tropic of Capricorn. The ends are simply lopped off, they're cut into halves, and they're steamed for just a few minutes. To the white wine sauce next. Fiona uses a West Australian Chardonnay and some wine vinegar, and they're both reduced over high heat. Some cream is added, and although this may seem like a large quantity, it will be shared among a lot of people in what overall is a very low-fat meal. A grinding of pepper, the heat's turned down, and the sauce is left to quietly reduce a little more. When it's time to serve, the bark is peeled off the barramundi, taking with it the scales and revealing the beautifully cooked, moist and tender barramundi flesh. Time to serve. On some baked potato slices go some of the leeks, just cooked through and then allowed to brown, a few optional sunflower sprouts, asparagus, still quite crisp, the fish fillet, see how it just falls apart but is still very moist, and just a little of the white wine sauce, topped with some chopped dill and a lime wedge. And here it is, Fiona's El Questro barramundi, made with a white wine sauce and served with just a glass of the wine used in the cooking. From the Kimberley in northwestern Australia, bon appetit.